look more slick than UAF Echo Echoes. They look like a Walmart self-checkout coin slot. Hello, my guys and gals. I'm back with another video and the final video in the Ben 10 Tenathon trilogy. And if you haven't been following this trilogy, this is the 10th video in a playlist of 10 other Ben 10 related videos. And today's video is going to be a ranking of the top 5 worst and best Ben 10 Omniverse redesigns. So basically, some of the designs will be just as good, if not better, than the original design, or they'll be absolute and complete garbage. But with all of that being said, let's get into the top 5. I know what a lot of people are thinking, like, what? This is one of the worst redesigns, not the best. But you know what? I don't care. There's 4 separate swampfire redesigns, and they were bound to strike gold eventually, and for me, they did. His first redesign resembles how he looked in UAF, and if you're watching these videos in order, you already know how I feel about that design. And if you're not, watch that video. I go more in depth on how he looks, but he looks ugly. And this design's no different, except the body looks a lot worse, and the placement of the Omnitrix symbol looks way worse. And then through the episode, his design changes slightly where it looks similar but different at the same time. This one looks a teeny bit better, but not by much. And then they struck gold. The third redesign is easily the best one. If you watched my Alien Force ranking video, you know my main problem with Swampfire is his head. It looks stupid, but this actually looks really cool. The original one, while kind of fitting the theme, doesn't really fit the theme for me at least. But this genuinely looks really good. The head being like a flower but in fire-like colors looks so good. It genuinely gives personality to an alien that, in my opinion, had no personality at all. Just an empty shell of what Heat Blast and Wildvine were. But this design change actually makes the alien a lot more unique, in my opinion at least. And yes, the fourth redesign is the uglier one. But even if you despise Swampfire and Omniverse, you have to admit this one looks really good. And yes, while this alien is still a cheap ripoff of Heat Blast and Wildvine, at least it's original looking now. This is honestly one of the best redesigns in Omniverse. Man, for being a ghost, they really sucked the life out of him. Look, Ghostfreak's design's gotten worse over the years, but this is easily the worst one. And honestly, it's not even that bad of a design itself. There's just one factor that makes it worse. It's too f***ing green! He looks more like gas than he does a ghost. Like, he is genuinely so much less intimidating in this design just because of the fact of how green he is. Bro is way too prepared for St. Patrick's Day. And when it comes to Ghostfreak, the only thing that should be green on him is the Omnitrix symbol. Not even the eye should be green. That's why to this day, the original is still the best, because it doesn't have any green on it. And again, this design could work perfectly if it wasn't for the green. Like, look at this recolor I found of the same design. That looks so much better. In short, Ghostfreak's redesign, I've always hated since I first saw it. And it is easily one of the worst redesigns in Omniverse. Come on, we can all agree Snarrow was a lot better in Omniverse than he was in the original series. But Snarrow's redesign just looks better than the original. Like, there's more personality to it. The armor on Snarrow looks better, the head looks better, everything about it looks better. Not much else to say except Omniverse Snarrow just looks better. God, look at how they massacred my boy. This is easily the worst upgrade redesign, and Upgrade's been on a steady slope of failure since the first design. The way that Upgrade's proportioned in this show is strange, to say the least. He falls under the curse of being way too green. Even though Upgrade works with green, too much is too much. Okay? But easily the worst changes is the fact that the Omnitrix symbol is in the eye instead of the chest. When it's on the chest, it looks good, but when it's on the eye, it looks kinda awkward. Upgrade's redesign just screams ugly. This is easily one of the worst redesigns in Omniverse. Now, this one was a really good redesign. Actually, I prefer Omniverse Arctiguana to the original because not only that he has more screen time than the original, but to be completely honest, he looks way better in Omniverse's style. The more cartoony design weirdly fits Arctiguana really well. In Omniverse, he looks a little bigger, bulkier, his face is a little smaller, but it really works for the alien. Like, I'm just gonna say it, the old one looked kind of awkward, but this one does not at all. Just because of the flat out fact, him having a smaller snout just looks way more natural, while the longer snout looks really stupid. Also, I like the spikes on his back. I like how he's a lot more armored in this form. And also, this alien doesn't suffer from greenitis, so there's not too much green on him. I really love this redesign because it takes an alien that looked pretty mediocre and made him look really cool. Chromastone's never been the coolest looking alien, but wow, they somehow made him worse looking. By the way, Chromastone does have two redesigns in the show. The first redesign looks exactly like the original, the only difference is that the crystals are a little longer. And just like the original one, he looks lame. And then in the season finale of the final season of Ben 10 Omniverse, he came back in this design. Now, it does have its problems, but there are things I do like about it. First off, the body proportions of the redesigned Chromastone look a lot better than the original, because the original looked really scrawny, while this one looks pretty big, and I like that. Also, I know a lot of people have a problem with the one eye and no mouth thing, but I really like it. It adds something unique to something that's literally just a carbon copy of Diamond Head. And the green wristbands, while I'm not a huge fan of the leg ones, the wrist ones are okay. But unfortunately, its cons outweigh its pros. The crystals shooting out of his body are way too long. The green tracksuit that looks like a Speedo just ain't it. And like I said before, the wristbands on the legs just don't look right. This redesign has the potential to be really cool looking, but it failed. Do I seriously need to explain myself when I say this is one of the best redesigns in the entire show? Instead of being a little naked demon thing, now he looks more like a goblin. Which, for this idea, works pretty well, and this outfit, that looks really good. I like how Bro got the pilot fit. It fits Jerry Riggs' personality perfectly. There's nothing much else I can say other than Jerry Riggs' redesign is one of the best redesigns Omniverse has ever done. Dear God, what did they do to you? This version of Echo Echo is easily one of the ugliest things I've ever seen in Ben 10. His body makes him look like Bubba J. Looks like he's about to kick back some Happy Juice and watch some fucking NASCAR. His face is too square looking. His mouth just looks really off. He's even got bags under his eyes. He looks like your average Destiny player after 5 days of grinding with no sleep. Even his eyes look more slit than UAF Echo Echoes. They look like a Walmart self-checkout coin slot. And the Omnitrix being on his head just looks really stupid. Omniverse Echo Echo is absolutely hideous looking. And somehow there's ones worse than this! So the honorable mention is Forearms. Honestly, the Omniverse design is my favorite because he looks like a gym bro, and Forearms gives off gym bro energy, so... And the facial hair really fits this alien perfectly. I don't know why people complain about it. It fits the alien's personality perfectly. Also, I like how he's wearing a tank top instead of a t-shirt. It looks way better. The only thing that kind of kills it for me is the waistband thing. I wish they would have kept the Omnitrix symbol on the arm, but I can live with it. Other than that, it's a really solid redesign. And the dishonorable mention is Alien X. Now, while Omniverse did Alien X some serious justice by showing his true power, like this is the only series that has some seriously crazy feats from Alien X. And most of his design's fine, it's bulkier, but it's okay. I just really don't like the chin. The chin is way too big. Like, bro quite literally looks like the Giga Chad meme. Bro looks like the off-brand version of the Crimson Chin from Fairly Odd Parents. But other than his massive chin, everything else about the design's fine. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. Ah yes, the redesign that made a pretty crummy looking alien look awesome. For having the name Eatle, his original design is way too robotic. And plus it just looks boring. I would take Upchuck over that original design. But this one actually looks cool because, you know, he actually looks like a beetle. You know, one of the main parts of his name. Like, everything about this design is just perfect. And even the green isn't that much of a distraction because some beetles are green. And plus, Eatle has this giant spike on his head that originally was just a fin that shoots lasers. But they changed it to an antennae that builds up a large ball of energy in it and shoots, well, a laser. It's the same thing, but one change in the design made it way better. Honestly, Eatle is easily the best redesign in Omniverse. And the main reason why I would take Eatle over Upchuck.
What did they do to you? My boy! My beautiful boy!
Damn! Damn!
This is the reason why I thought this was the Teen Titans Go of Ben 10. They turned such a cool design into something so stupid looking. If you've been watching these videos in order, you know Big Chill is my all-time favorite Ben 10 alien. And to see him massacred like this is just, oh my god. I don't even have the words for it. Like, look at the original design. It's sleek, it's cool looking. And the wings turn into like a cloak or something. It just makes it look even better. Now look at this one. The top of his body makes him look like an average Texan, and the lower half of his body makes him look like a f***ing Wendigo. What I'm trying to say is that his body proportions are all over the place, and his wings look way too small to let this thing fly. Normally I don't complain about body proportions, but stink arms exist. And his cloak form makes him look like a 90-year-old woman that has way too many cats. This design single-handedly turned me away from the series. I thought it was going to be another cheap knockoff of a show I loved. Omniverse Big Chill is the most heinous design that Omniverse made. Hands down. And this is the last video in the Ben 10 Tennathon. Just because the Ben 10 Tennathon's over doesn't mean this is going to be the last you see of Ben Tennyson. Or the last I talk about him. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you would have different top 5s, let me know in the comments. I love hearing different opinions of things I love. But with all that being said, I'll catch you guys next time. Goodbye! Like the video, or your dog's going to be turned into a Ben 10 Omniverse alien.
I can't find him. I can't find him.
I will fly to Texas and kill you.
I can't find him. I can't find him.
Leave them alone.
I can't find him.
Leave them alone.
I swear to... No, don't.